Hello, welcome back to the Totally Random Talk Show.
Today we have a special guest yet again, PRTLNDboi.
Oh,
Yeah.
feels good.
I'm back.
Yeah, we're all back here, and sorry if there's a little static. We're trying it out together with the microphone, so yeah, might have a little bit of static.
We'll see how it goes, though.
Yeah.
So, let's just go down the list of our topics today, shall we? We have stadiums, water slides,
String, Scooby-Doo. Here, just a second, we gotta get the paper.
Disney, crayons,
LED headlights, impressions,
Photoshop, even though when I wrote it down, it didn't look like that.
and shrimp.
All right, let's get started with stadiums.
Well, first of all, we have a giant picture of a stadium right in front of us, where we are right now. So that's a little interesting. So we can kind of take from that.
Well, one major important part of stadiums is they have to house lots of people. I mean, even the stadiums you'd find at a high school,
Yeah.
they still have to have lots of seats. They have to have at least enough that, like, everyone in the school can have a seat. And especially like imagine the Super Bowl. That gets insane. I can't even imagine how many seats there are.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
And oh my gosh, that would
Tens of thousands.
And lots of people buy tickets. Like, there's millions of dollars that goes into that. It's crazy.
And the great thing about stadiums is that they're multi-use. So you can
That's
use them
true.
for sports, you can use them for concerts, you can use them for fireworks shows. There's so many different
Yeah.
uses for a stadium.
They have some stadiums that switch from like a basketball court
Oh,
to
yeah.
an ice skating rink. Yep.
Yeah, and what's cool about those too is they can get rid of the actual court part and just have concrete on the bottom. Sometimes they'll do certain events there too, like they have booths or stuff like that. Just for example,
Exactly.
there's a booth. Things, yeah.
There's just so many different possibilities.
Okay, our next topic is on water slides. An interesting thing about water slides is, so we have a pretty, I'd say small water park, but it's not too small, near where we live. And the first time we went there this year, we said, we're not going to go on these certain rides. They're the big water slides and everything like that, so we wouldn't go on them. But now we've ended up going on every single one, almost. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's like we're eating our own words.
Yeah.
I must say, they were fun though.
Yeah.
Very fun.
The great thing about water slides is a lot of them are for thrill seekers. So if you're looking for a huge adrenaline rush, water slides generally can give that to you.
Yeah. And also, they may be shorter than roller coasters, but they are way more scary because you're not strapped in. You're just straight on the water going straight down.
Exactly. Oh man, there's like so many different water slides today too. I've seen water slides with loops, water slides that go straight down. I've seen water slides. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I've seen them spiral all the way down and at the bottom go back up in the loop.
Yeah. It's crazy. And there's different types of water slides too. Like, some are for kids, more like tube rides, but there are also those ones for thrill seekers.
There's mat rides and rides you ride yourself.
Just free body.
Sometimes you might lose your pants on some of them.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
And next, you want to say where
Yeah,
next?
our next topic is string.
Okay.
Well, string. There's different kinds of string, okay? I'm not sure if you would call rope necessarily string at all. But string is more weak.
Very thin.
Very.
Yeah.
It's mainly used for, like, sewing in some
Yeah.
cases. In other cases, you just hold weak things together.
Yeah. And lots of strings together to make different types, like ribbon or rope is actually just lots of different strings intertwined and everything. And so there's a point where the string turns into like clothes and stuff like stuff people actually use. So it is useful, but at the start it's very thin and not very strong at all.
No, not at all. One very strong type of string that I know is nylon. You'd think it's a rope. It is actually based as a string, is what they call it.
Yeah.
But it is actually one of the strongest types of string because it's the thickest type of string before you start getting into ropes.
Yeah. So nylon rope would be tough.
Yeah.
Hey.
So our next topic today is on Scooby-Doo. Now, the original Scooby-Doo, I love it. It's amazing. I used to watch it as a kid and get freaked out by it, how scary it was. And over time, they keep making the show better, make movies, things like that. So, what's new, Scooby-Doo?
Yeah. It really has had its ups and downs over time, but I feel like lately they released a new Scooby-Doo show called Mystery Incorporated, and I watched a little bit of that, and it was really good. And they're making a new movie, an animated one, which I'm really excited for. Like, it looks like it's gonna be great. So I feel
it already came out.
It is, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that came out.
I have to be completely
It
honest.
did come out.
In my opinion, it was the worst movie I've ever seen. Sorry, but it didn't take what the other Scooby-Doo shows and movies had. It just kind of jumbled everything together and put stuff in that didn't make any sense. It didn't relate to Scooby-Doo. Yeah, anyways, they did a good job on the animation though. It looked really good. So yeah.
And that's where the ups and downs come with Scooby-Doo. There's the good kinds of Scooby-Doo, and there's the kinds of Scooby-Doo that's just not
A flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the live action one was kind of good, but not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to be honest.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, TV.
Disney is our next topic.
So, Disney. It all started a long time ago. What, like 1920s? 20s, yeah. Well, actually, it started before that, but if you really want to go back, it started before that.
Yeah.
I had watched a documentary on Walt Disney, and he had actually had his own little small studio for a long time where he just did small animations, but it wasn't until he had been doing it for some time that it had actually become like a full-time thing, and he bought Disneyland, at least the land for it, and built it from the ground up.
Yeah, that was in the 50s, I think.
Yeah, and one interesting thing about that is the first person to buy a ticket, they gave him like a ticket that he could still use. So basically like a season pass forever. And so he still actually uses it to go to Disneyland, which is awesome. Like that's awesome.
That is.
That's really cool.
Yeah, honestly, I was watching that same documentary. It's pretty good. I forgot what it's called, but it was amazing. And, his small animation company was not doing well at all. And they were having a really hard time, finding people that wanted their animations. Because back then you'd copy it all, and then you'd send it to people, and if they didn't want it, they'd send it back. But most everyone did not want it at all. So,
Yeah.
really, it's pretty much luck that he was able to get so famous.
And it's incredible because Disney came from being like absolutely terrible to becoming one of the largest multi-billion-dollar companies in the world.
Yeah.
And they own everything, like ESPN, Fox. They have so much property. It's incredible.
Soon they buy DreamWorks. No, I'm just kidding. No, if that actually happened, that'd be insane.
That'd be awesome.
Shrek would be Disney.
Shrek would be Disney. Oh my.
Just imagine that.
You have Disneyland rides with Shrek.
I would ride that.
He starts playing All Star. Yeah,
But I do feel like Disney is a little more than the rides and everything. Like their movies that they make are just absolutely incredible. Like all of them become classics eventually. It's really awesome.
And even like the newer ones, like for example, Frozen and Moana, those are actually really good movies, and people remember them. Well, first of all, because they're new, but also because they made them really well, to where they kept kind of the older Disney, I guess.
Feel?
Yeah, feel. Yeah, and they brought in some new ideas, with new animation, and because computers keep getting better and better, which help a lot.
What would you say is Disney's their best animated movie?
That's tough to say. Well,
Animation-wise.
I think, well, if you were to say from the standpoint of what started Disney, it'd probably be Snow White. But from my favorite is probably Aladdin.
That was
Yeah,
good.
that was a good one. My personal favorite is Toy Story 4 because it's one of the newest animated movies that Disney has put out. And it's crazy seeing from the first Toy Story to the newest one, a lot has changed.
Yeah.
And the new Toy Story looks real life. Like it's really good animation wise, at least.
It's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And also, it's the same thing with the live action, basically CGI, Lion King. They made the animals look so realistic. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, on to our next topic, which is crayons.
Oh, bringing the childhood back.
But you're still in your childhood.
I know. But I mean my younger years.
Yeah, okay. I get you.
For some reason, I see other people that are so good at using crayons. Like, their shading with crayons is amazing. And then I look at my crayon drawing, and it's terrible. It is literally the worst.
Honestly, I feel like crayons were kind of made out of pity for the kids that didn't really know what they're wanting to draw. Because, like, crayons they don't get everything. Like, they don't color in an entire page. But when you're drawing with, like, markers, or if you're drawing with colored pencils, it'll actually fill in everything. So I feel like crayons are if you're just drawing, like, a little stick figure or something.
Or,
They're for really basic drawing.
or sometimes you can use them to color stuff in, but something similar to crayons is pastels. And I think lots of people use that because you can kind of smooth it out and it creates more of a gradient, like
Yeah,
smooths everything out.
very finite image.
Yeah.
But, there are other uses to crayons. I mean,
You can
People-
melt them.
people melt crayons, yeah, and
Yeah.
then they actually use it as paint, and they paint rocks that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does get everything because it's not like
Paint.
hard
At that
wax.
point, it's melted.
Yeah, just wax. And I've actually seen somebody make a candle out of crayons before, which makes sense because it's made out of wax, but it doesn't work as well as like wax that they usually use for candles because I think it's a little bit harder, but it does kind of work.
What I've seen that's cool is people will take crayons and they'll melt them and they'll actually make sculptures out of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's cool. It's probably a very long process because you have to build onto the sculpture.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and it's always kind of funny to see those huge boxes of crayons, like 90 or 100 crayons, and they have the little sharpener in the back. It's crazy because there's so many colors too.
Yeah.
They literally make up colors.
yeah. It's like, I'm trying to remember some of them.
There's this book, and it's like still to this day one of my favorite picture books. But it's called The Day the Crayons Quit.
Oh yeah, I read that book too.
Oh my gosh. Every time I read it, it cracked me up.
Yeah.
Because there's this one page You know, it's about a bunch of crayons writing to their owner about how they're being abused. Like one of them is way too stubby. One of them barely gets used at all. One, it's the saddest one, is beige, and it never gets used for anything except for drawing wheat and turkeys.
It's kind of
It makes
funny.
me feel bad for it every time. But crayons are great.
Yeah. You can be creative with them.
Yeah.
Now, anyways, our next topic.
LED headlights. Oh
Uh,
man, this one's a real pet peeve for me because I drive a lot, and LED headlights are some of the brightest things I have ever seen in my life, especially when it's shining right into your rear view mirror when you're driving. Oh man.
See, Tristan and I can't drive yet, but LED headlights are still annoying. Like, they just glare from the back and front. They're so, it's horrible.
That's why you don't leave your brights on at night.
To all you moms who drive Escalades out there, please turn off your brights.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. That's about all we have to say about headlights.
They're annoying.
Yeah, they're just annoying.
They're really annoying.
But they are good to use sometimes because if it's dark or foggy, you should use them so that you don't get in a car crash.
Just don't annoy other people. Please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Our next topic is
Impressions.
Impressions. That was a terrible.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was
I
that?
love
Oh,
impressions.
please, no, don't. Oh. It's horrible. I can't do
Impressions are good, yeah.
See, how about this? Instead of talking about impressions, why don't we each do an impression?
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of do. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Tristan, why don't you start?
Alright, I'll just do something classic. British accent, you know, it's not the best that I can do, but I make it better every single day. And even though it's terrible, and Max is laughing at me right now, and he, oh my gosh.
It's getting worse as you go.
I know. There is no perfect impression. There's no such thing. Would you like to?
Except for the actual
Elaborate.
person.
Okay, really
You're
quick.
impressionating.
Before I do mine, I'm trying to think of what to do first. But second of all, Tom Holland in Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh.
He does a great impression. See, and like there's coaches for that kind of stuff too, and they do what they really help because he's British. He has a pretty strong British accent. I think it's not the strongest I've heard, but it's not on the light side at all. But he can really pull off that American kind of accent, and so he did really well acting in that movie, you know, because he really did have to do an impression for a long time because they have to retake parts of, you know, like
It's
cut after
incredible.
cut and everything, you know. Okay, let's see. What impression should I do?
There's many. German, Russian, Irish, Scottish,
Scottish. I can't do any of those.
Australian.
Australian, I
You
am.
could do an impression of a person
That's true.
as well. Like if you've ever seen The Office, Michael Scott does many
He's bad at them all.
impressions.
I know, he's the best.
You know why they call me Prison Mike?
Yeah. Okay, let's see. How about this? I will do. I'm trying to think here. How about you?
TikTok on
How
the
you
clock.
Go? Here you go, Portland boy.
I'm still thinking of one too. Impressions are really hard because
Yeah.
it's really just a hit and miss kind of a thing.
You all are mental.
You're either good at it or you're bad at it.
Okay, ready?
I'm terrible.
Crikey, mate. You see that dingo out there? He was crazy, mate. He's really large. He's running around, skipping around, grabs a snake by the head, and runs away.
That was so bad. Okay, well,
I thought it was okay. It was better than mine.
I'm sure Australian people don't sound that that, I'm sure they talk normal, like,
Okay, well, we're dropping boys. You want to drop in Fortnite right now, yeah? Let's drop in Fortnite, mate. Crikey.
And granted, I don't want to be racist at all towards anyone, you know.
yeah.
But you know, it's just fun to be stupid like this and
Yeah.
be terrible at
I'm sure,
impressions.
Yeah, here, really quick. I'm sure people do horrible impressions of Americans on purpose. I mean, everybody makes fun of us. We're kind of dumb sometimes, so yeah.
We just like to barbecue and light up fireworks. And
Because that's normal.
I'm the god of destruction.
stick to our guns.
Okay, do your.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna do my impression of an African American. Okay.
Oh my.
A guy in the hood. Just walking down the street. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
Hey man, what's good, boy? How you doing, boy? You heard my mixtape, boy? You like that? That's fine, man. Hey, boy, I pulled up in the hood with Glock. Got like seven boys riding around here. They're like, hey man, boy, I seen you on the street the other day. And they was like, hey boy, I seen you, boy. I look, I beat you up right now, boy. Thank you.
Okay, you're so white. I'm sorry. You are really.
I think I'm trying too hard.
Yeah, no. And also, if you don't like the term African American, then we can use the term color. I don't know, but it's hard. It's hard because
It's hard to pinpoint something.
with that subject, people usually kind of get more aggressive. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they don't really, because they get kind of offended.
And
So
there's absolutely no disrespect there.
yeah,
Absolutely
try not to disrespect anybody.
No.
We're sorry if anybody listening is disrespected, because we don't want to make you guys feel bad. We're just doing funny.
We're just doing
impressions,
funny impressions.
trying to make you guys laugh.
So if there's any British people out there, I really
We're
apologize.
Australians. We probably don't see dingoes every day. I've heard kangaroos are ruthless.
But we hope that you enjoyed those because we tried.
We certainly enjoyed them.
yeah. Okay. We have actually 2 more topics. See, this is a bit of a longer episode, so let's hop right into the next one. Photoshop.
Yeah. Okay. I love Photoshop.
Oh,
It's fun,
Yeah.
and you can just do so many things with it. Like all the memes of today are basically made with Photoshop.
MS Paint. Shout out to you.
But Photoshop has so many different uses.
Yeah.
I took a class that literally focused pretty much on Photoshop, and it was a very fun class actually.
Yeah.
I made Mount Fuji look like it was blowing up, and it was pretty great. But
There's other uses for Photoshop too besides making memes and stuff like that. You can also like edit photos like very
Yeah.
well, and you can
Uh-huh.
make them look like
Yeah.
flawless.
Pixel by pixel too.
Amazing.
You can
It's-
zoom in to each individual pixel and change them. And what's crazy about that is you can use it as your own art form. I've seen people, they connect an iPad to it with the stylus,
Yep.
and they can draw really well, and then they put it into Photoshop, right? And just make it look a little bit nicer,
Yep.
and everything. And so Photoshop can be used for real life pictures, stuff you draw and everything. So it's really, I think, the greatest medium for creativity with art and everything, because nowadays you can change anything in Photoshop, right? Like making something blow up, or you can make something like a meme, there's lots of things you can do with Photoshop.
Yeah.
That makes it so that even if you have to pay for the actual Adobe Photoshop, it's way worth it, because you can do so much. And I've even tried photoshopping something. I tried photoshopping a cat driving a car. He looked chill, bro. It was great. Anyways,
our last, well, actually, is there anything else any of you would like to add on Photoshop?
Nope.
All right. Well, our last topic today is on shrimp.
delicious, nutritious shrimp. From the sea.
Shrimp-alicious.
See, some people don't like shrimp, but I do.
I feel like shrimp is the most exclusive seafood out there. Besides crab.
Yeah.
Besides
And lobster.
Lobster bisque.
So I guess
any seafood.
one could say that shrimp is one of the most exclusive seafoods that you
Yeah.
can get on the market.
Delicious.
It's really incredible.
See, my grandpa really likes shrimp, and we went on a little family reunion trip a little while ago, last month, yeah. And we were having dinner, and he brought out a big bucket of shrimp that he cooked up. He's like, "Anybody want some shrimp?" It was great.
Oh, man. Now, there's different types of shrimp. There's jumbo shrimp, there's mini shrimp, there's popcorn shrimp. There is shrimp that still has like the outer part that you have to peel off, pull out and eat. Or there's just ones that are ready to go and you just pop it in your mouth.
Yep.
Yeah.
But all of them are the same. They're so good. And I mean, people, not everyone likes shrimp.
Yeah, and
You
that's
don't
okay.
have to like shrimp.
We all agree that it's delicious. So.
It is. It really is.
And we're not saying you have to like it either.
Yep.
Everyone has a different opinion.
And some people are also allergic to it. So it's okay if you don't like it. It's okay if you can't have it. There's foods that everybody likes, there's foods that everybody hates. So it's all just depending on what you like.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's about it for today. Really quick. Portland Boy's new album came out.
Yep, making my way to the top.
Oh,
And if you don't know how Portland Boy is spelled, it's a little weird. It's spelled PRTLNDboi, and that's all one word.
So you can look him up on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music.
it's everywhere.
I'm even on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
We're going to put a link to his Spotify down below because I know a lot of people use Spotify. So we'll let you guys check him out. His Spotify released a new album, and he was here with us today to talk with us about lots of subjects.
yeah.
Pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, everyone, and remember, stay random.
Stay random.
Stay random.
Peace out. See you next time.